Yeah, hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. Yeah, Bitcoin shows some strength, some short-term strength, but it's very much overlapping price action. So let's discuss the possibilities that we have here now. The price reacted again to the communicated support zone in orange. So as I said before, it is a range here in which we are operating. And as long as we don't get 5 waves to the upside or a substantial break above the green line, it is still possible, obviously, that we extend this correction. That's, we have a break above initial resistance, as I said. That's the initial indication a low could be in. Before that happened, we wouldn't even need to talk about the low is in. So, okay, so possibly the wave 4 is completed. Do I like the structure? No, for various reasons. Therefore, we have to have another alternative short-term bearish count. Unfortunately, very, very messy structure here. Always something that happens in these corrections where we just need to be flexible and dynamic. As I said, and very important, the wave counts shouldn't necessarily be used for trading. The levels that the wave counts reveal should be like this support area, which was now triggered for the second time. So chances are with the break of initial resistance, we might now rally to the next resistance level up there, which is sort of structural resistance here around 71,700, 71,600. So once we get there, the white scenario tells us the risk is high that if the rally is corrective, we might see one more dip down into the lower support region, which could offer another opportunity to maybe accumulate. However, if we witness today, tomorrow, a 5-wave advance from the low, well, then it could be an indication, a confirmation that a low is in, right? The first confirmation. There are 3 levels of confirmation in Elliott Wave that a low has formed. The first one is a 5-wave advance, which would be there is no clear 5-wave move, but just saying here. If we get 5 waves, that would be something like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the first step of confirmation. Then we need that 3-wave pullback. Then we have that second level of confirmation. That's normally as good as it gets for a pullback trader. You get 2 levels of confirmation or 2 degrees of confirmation. The third degree of confirmation is the breakout above the top. But then you're a breakout trader. You need to decide if you're a pullback or breakout trader. But at the moment, we don't even have the initial 5-wave move up. All we have is a break of micro resistance that causes us to look, okay, is the low in? But I have taken a look and it looks corrective still. So still though, because of the initial break of resistance, I'm tentatively labeling it as complete. Doesn't mean it has to be complete yet. I will not assume that a low is in until we have a first 5-wave move up, followed by a 3-wave pullback from an analysis point of view. However, as you know, these support regions are there to maybe add positions if you want to use them. So anybody who did that here would now be well in profit. Mentioned to you down here on Sunday that it's likely that we at least get a rally into resistance, which then happened. And now we need to see it today, and that's very important today. We need to make sure that we understand if the price sustains above resistance, okay? And if the price can sustain above resistance, then we need to be looking at the structure specifically, and the first deeper pullback will tell us basically the truth. So the nature of the current rally is now very important to determine what Bitcoin is going to do going forward, possibly this week. If the rally forms a 5-wave advance, then we can look for higher prices and the price sustain higher. But from a risk management point of view, I need to point out that this here is very much possible. And that would be just an ABC rally in the white count, which basically means we have an extension of this entire correction, short-term bearish, W, X, Y, and then the Y wave is an A, B, C. I assign this decent probabilities, otherwise I wouldn't show it. And the reason for that is that this move down needs actually one more low to be completed from a reliable point of view, reliable viewpoint, because the problem is this low did not end below this one. So it doesn't really give us that clear bottoming structure that we normally want to see. And therefore, this opens the door to the white scenario. Yes, there is a structural resistance. That doesn't mean, though, again, that if we get above that line, we are already in the breakout. B waves can overshoot. But the likelihood is, if it's a B wave, it should finish somewhere in that region. We can be much more specific about that once I have the initial A wave and the B wave. So it will be difficult to determine between, okay, we have an A, B, C, or we have a like a 1, 2, 3, okay, which would be the bullish point of view. I cannot really give you any targets for a C wave or a third wave unless I have the first deeper pullback and it's holding a higher low. The only clue that we have is the structure of the rally, which at the moment is corrective. So it could very well be an A wave of that larger B wave. Okay, so from a tactical point of view, that means we're still holding well above support. Any dips could be opportunities. Any rallies into resistance, you might want to take some partial profits. And if we see a first 5-wave move up that is clear, I can confirm that a low is in and wave 4. As long as we only have 3 waves, it can always fall back into support. Okay, we haven't even broken out of the range, so we just make another attempt from that support zone to rally, which often happens from support zones. That's why we call them support. But it hasn't reached the ideal target for the last leg of the correction that was here 60.1k. Therefore, we have to keep the door open potentially for lower, because if these are missed, and it's not, as I say, it's not set in stone that the 100% extension level needs to be reached. It's just a matter of probabilities. We came very close, so the low could be in, but it would be a truncated low, less reliable. So we'll see how it develops. I will throughout the day probably make some adjustments here as new data comes in. At the moment, nothing has really changed. We've seen a reaction to support. We still deal with corrective structures, and the range is still unchanged. Okay, but it's worth watching if a low maybe is in. It's good to see that the altcoins are rallying today a little bit. That protects some of their setups that we still have. Yeah, and I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also, make sure that you follow us on Instagram and Twitter for additional content. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.